Welcome to Trojans Live, the exclusive USC Trojans coaches show.
The pass to Howard off the backboard, and what a dunk by Julian Jacobs. Oh, what a play.
Behind the scenes insights and breaking news from head coaches Andy Enfield and Steve Sarkisian and the student athletes that play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Terrell bisecting the paint. Oh my goodness, a one-handed stuff.
Trojans Live is brought to you by
BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. By Valvoline, charge on, but visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change first. Home of the drive-through only change and proud sponsor of USC football. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special discounts and offers. By Allstate Insurance, mayhem is everywhere. Start protecting yourself from mayhem with Allstate Insurance. By Western Exterminator, providing all-star termite and pest control you can trust for over 90 years. Western Exterminator, the final word in pest control.
Here now are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by your Southern California BMW Centers on KFWB News Talk 980. We are live at the lab for another big show with 6 guests joining us on set this hour, including head basketball coaches Andy Enfield and Cynthia Cooper-Dyke. Plus, we'll have hoops freshman Julian Jacobs, baseball stars Kevin Swick and Bob Wheatley, and finally, new head of strength and conditioning Ivan Lewis will join us. I am Jordan Moore, alongside a man who is so famous that his face appears on a mural inside the new Heritage Hall. John Jackson. JJ, have you seen a picture of you in the new Heritage Hall, which is opening this week?
I have not. But now that you mention it, I might. If we get in the show a little bit early, I might go look at myself.
You're under the scholar athlete section, which means you were a smart guy in the field. You weren't under the All-American section. You were under the academic All-American section.
Yeah, smarter. Yeah, smart, but not athletic. I'll accept that.
All right, well, another smart guy who was a pretty good athlete is going to join us right now. We're going to start with the head men's basketball coach, Andy Enfield, who sat down with us. This segment is brought to you by your Southern California BMW Centers. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. Coach, we bring you in after record's been even up at 9-9, not a great start to Pac-12 play. What have been the biggest challenges now that you've gone into conference?
Well, the Pac-12 is very good this year, probably the strongest in 5-10 years. A lot of NCAA tournament potential teams and teams that are nationally ranked, including the number one team in the nation. So a lot of good teams in our league this year. We have struggled early on with some tough road games and, of course, home game against Arizona, number one team in the nation. So we've had a challenging schedule. We've got to give the other teams credit. They've outplayed us at times, but we're competing, and so we're excited here this week.
Coach, you knew this was going to be a process to try to turn this basketball program completely around. But talk about just this season in terms of how you and the team have sort of gotten along from practices, stuff that people don't see.
I really enjoy showing up with our staff every day because this group of young men, they play hard, they're good teammates, they really have a great enthusiastic attitude. So that's all you can ask as a coach. And then you have to improve as an individual, you have to improve as a team. And so our players need to take these next 2 months of taking ownership of their career, whether you're a senior, junior, freshman, or sophomore. So there's some development and some improvement we need to make. So we're looking forward to working with our guys, and we need to keep our heads up. We have a chance to win some games in the Pac-12, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you talk about keeping your head up. What's the frustration level like for the kids? Are they staying positive as a group?
Sure. I think they want to win. It's not from a lack of caring, the rough start, because they care, they're good teammates, there's no dissension among the team, and they're really pulling for each other. So I think if they keep that attitude and keep improving, as I just said, we'll be fine.
You know, Coach, now one thing that people might not know is, the record, you guys have gotten off to a tough start in Pac-12 play, but the teams you faced have been good. I mean, the first 6 opponents, 88-21 are their records on the year, which is outstanding, as you mentioned, one of the teams being the number one ranked team in the country. How do you get past that frustration and let the kids know, hey, look, if we got off to a bad start, but we are playing top talent?
Well, the other night we were down 3 with a first-half lead at Utah, who's very good at home, very good overall. We were a 3-point game against Arizona at halftime. We had the lead in most of our conference games at one time or the other, some earlier, some in the second half. But we have to play 40 minutes, and I think if you look at the teams that are in the top half of our league right now, they play for 40 minutes or close to it. And that's a learning curve for some of our younger players. We're playing 4 freshmen, starting 2 of them. We have a couple sophomores and even upperclassmen have not been relied upon. You know, last year's team, we lost five of the 6 top scorers from last year's team. So even some of the guys like Omar Arabi, who averaged 5.5 points a game last year, he's being relied upon to be a main guy. And you take Strahinja off the bench, who played 19 minutes the other night, and even Byron Wesley's in a new role, and Pishon Howard and DJ Haley are new guys. So a lot of players they have to carry a bigger load this year, and I think the thing we've gotten out of the first part of the Pac-12 season is they have to do that for 40 minutes.
One of the things that I've heard you talk about is as you talk about your system and trying to get this team to play the way you want them to. You've mentioned your Florida Gulf Coast point guard. I believe his name was Brett Comer. And I think the way you told it is that he went from 1 year where he was tops in the nation in turnovers or up there, and then the next year he's tops of the nation in assists or at least up there. Is that potentially what this team is going through? Because we've seen them kicking the ball a little bit around, trying to get up tempo, trying to get into offense. Could you see that transition happen where this team maybe starts to get it in year 2?
Well, sure. Brett Comer at Florida Gulf Coast he did lead the nation in turnovers as a freshman. He played virtually all the minutes at point guard. And then we made our shooting guard, Bernard Thompson, our backup point guard, and he was a freshman as well. So they came in together, and we said, hey, we're going to live with you. You're going to make mistakes. Play through your mistakes. And second year, Brett was top 15 in the nation in assists, and Bernard averaged 14 points a game, 3.5 assists, and was third in the nation in steals. So those two guys really propelled our run with some other good players, including the Player of the Year, Sherwood Brown, and Chase Field, and those guys. So. But they all learned to play together, and the year that we went through, I think we were 15 and 17 when they were all young. They had some growing pains, and the ball would fly into the 8th row or 10th row of the stands, or bounce off their leg. We lost 3 games that year by 1 point at SMU, at Nebraska, at Maryland by 4, TCU by 1, and they were all in the last minute where we missed like a 5-foot bank shot. We dribbled the ball off our foot when we could have taken the lead with 30 seconds left. Things like that happen when you're a young, growing team. And so I see a lot of similarities with our young freshmen here and some of the guys I just mentioned that are in bigger roles now, even though they might be sophomores or juniors, that they do make mistakes. And it's from a lack of experience, lack of decision-making, or poor decision-making. And also, their skill sets and skill levels aren't where they need to be yet. And you mentioned Brett Comer. He made a huge jump in his decision-making and his skill sets. And that's why he went from leading the nation in turnovers with a poor assist-to-turnover ratio to being top 15 in assists and having a great assist-to-turnover ratio.
And we're going to talk to Julian Jacobs here in a few minutes. Is that a guy who you could see maybe learning through his mistakes this year, but takes that leap if he keeps working throughout his career, just a freshman?
Yeah, Julian's very talented and a great attitude, great work ethic, and he loves to play the game of basketball. And you can tell by watching him, he enjoys being on the court. Whether it's on offense, defense, and transition, whatever he has to do, he wants to just win games and get better. And he will. He'll be a great player in this league. He'll be a great player for USC. He's made a lot of mistakes as a freshman, like all freshmen do, but he's being able to play a lot of minutes. So the good thing for him is, and he has played through mistakes, and he's getting a lot of playing time. So it's kind of his development's quicker than it normally would be.
Coach, talk to me about the strategy of building this program and how you sort of go about it. In football, you hear that you have to control California and then you start to expand. Basketball, though, is international. I mean, you get guys from all over the world. What process is it, and what kind of player do you have to have in here to be successful?
We're trying to compete for a national championship, Final Four, Pac-12 championship. You need high-level players. You can't win at a high level without the talent. And if you look around the country, there's a lot of great coaches, but usually great coaches have great players. And everyone says, well, what did you do to go to the Sweet 16 last year? Well, I had great players.
Right.
And sure, your coaching staff and coaching is important, but you need talent. And you need to go anywhere in the world to find that at this level. So we're trying to get a lot of local kids, a lot of Southern California interest, but we're not going to get every player here. So we signed Jordan McLaughlin, who is arguably the top point guard on the West Coast from Etiwanda, about 45 minutes away, with a great family, and his family better watch him play. And but our other 2 signees are Malik Price Martin out of Florida and Jabari Craig out of Toronto, Canada. And then we have 2 transfers sitting out. Caton Reinhardt, who's from Orange County, went to Mater Dei, and Darian Clark, who's originally from Atlanta, Georgia. So you just in that small sample, you see 2 California kids, 3, 1 international from Toronto, and then 2 from the East Coast. So we need to do what we have to do to get that talent in here.
All right, Coach, I'm going to get you out on the toughest question of the night. We got Cynthia Cooper coming up next, one-on-one. Who wins, you or Coach Cooper?
Oh, Cynthia by far.
Don't give in to her.
She is.
I wouldn't give in to her.
Hey, if I said it would take 20 minutes of argument right now.
I know the whole next segment would just be her explaining why you were wrong. So we'll just leave it at that. Coach and his team will be in action tomorrow night, 8 o'clock tip-off against Cal, then Sunday at Galen Center against Stanford at 2 p.m. We also want to encourage you to vote for Coach. He's a part of this Coaches versus Cancer Challenge, the Infinity Coaches Charity Challenge. Go to ESPN.com/Infinity, and you can vote for Coach Enfield as he hopes to raise win $100,000 for Coaches versus Cancer. When we come back, it's Cynthia Cooper Dyke, whose women of Troy are off to a hot start in the Pac-12. She'll be next on Trojans Live.
Trojans got the rebound quickly ahead. Here's Jacobs, the one-handed stop in transition.
January is now January at Subway, and footlong fans are feeling good. Because any regular footlong is a $5 footlong. Even better for you favorites like the sweet onion chicken teriyaki and the ham, turkey, and roast beef packed Subway Club. Nothing stacks up to Subway footlongs. Hurry in for your $5 footlong this January.
Prices and participation may vary, plus tax or applicable. Excludes premium and supreme subs. Additional charge for extras. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com.
You may already know that AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network. And now independent research has confirmed that AT&T 4G LTE is also the most reliable. Whether you're connecting with family or getting the job done, you want a wireless network you can count on. AT&T, the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network. Rethink possible. AT&T reminds you to never text and drive. It can wait.
Speed claim based on national carriers' average 4G LTE download speeds. Reliability claim based on data transfer completion rates on nationwide 4G LTE networks. 4G LTE not available everywhere.
Now back to Trojans Live from the lab. Here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
And we are live at the lab with the head coach of USC women's basketball, Cynthia Cooper Dyke, sitting down with us. Coach, 13-6 overall, but 6-1 in Pac-12 play. It just seems like the girls are hitting their stride. They're peaking right now. What are you seeing?
Well, I see hard work. I see the effort that we lacked in some of our previous games in the preseason, and I see the girls starting to believe. We're starting to believe in each other. We're starting to believe in the product that we put out on the floor, and I just see the effort that we didn't have before rebounding. We've been a lot better on the boards. We've been executing not only in transition, but most importantly in the half-court set where we spend about 80% of our time. So that breeds a little confidence, and then little by little, every player that steps on the floor contributes. We're getting a lot of contributions from the bench.
You know, Coop, and that's what I see. I see when you guys play, the confidence of the girls. I mean, it's amazing that now it seems like they expect to win. Before they wanted to win. Now it seems like they expect it.
Yeah, early on, I talked so much about creating a culture of winning, creating an attitude. Winning is a state of mind. And we talked about that culture, and we talk about it almost every day in practice. And I tell them that it's a way that you practice. It's a way that you step on the court. It's a way that you put on your shoes. There is a reason why you're out here, and now they're starting to get it. And winning obviously helps that because they're starting to see the fruits of their labor, and they're starting to give it out on the court. And so you're seeing freshmen like Courtney Jaco, come out and knock down three-pointers. But not just that. She's getting on the defensive end in the passing lanes, creating turnovers, and which is allowing the defense or forcing the defense to open up. And now Cassie Harbert has a 30-point game. So, it's really a team effort.
You talked about how this team had a rep going in that, maybe was talented but a little bit soft. How have you made a team tough? How do you make a team tough?
Well, everything in practice is competitive. So we go, whether it's a free throw drill or whether we're going 5-on-5 or a 3-on-2, 2-on-1, whatever it is, we make sure that it's competitive and we give a premium. Either it's burpees or it's a sprint or it's some type of penalty or some type of premium for winning. And so we try to keep that competitive edge, whether it's a rebounding drill. Lately we've been working on rebounding, and it's been very, very competitive to where I've had to calm them down a little bit and say, hey, we have a game coming up. But it's really about being competitive and preparing them, trying to mimic the intensity that you're going to see in the game, trying to get that in practice every single day.
What's the style of this team? Because early in the year when we talked, it was a defensive style, a defensive mentality. It all started on the defensive end. But then I turned and I looked. You guys score over 100 points. Is it this team that flexible, or is it still defensive minded and that was just one of those nights?
Defense, everything good that happens to us happens because of our defense. So we're still a defensive minded team. We held a team like Colorado, who averaged 70-plus points, to 45 points. And so we still want to hang our hat on our defense, and we want to allow our offense to feed off of our defense. But it's always fun to be able to play everybody on the bench and to get out and have a great offensive game to where you don't really have to worry about the outcome. You can just kind of play and really make basketball fun for that night. And it's not just about business, but really for us, it's a balance. It's a balancing act. We definitely want to balance being effective in a half-court set, getting out in transition, but always getting defensive stops.
You still dropped 109 the other night. You must have enjoyed that. I mean, you are a gunner at the end of the day, and you must have liked seeing that Galen Center scoreboard. It hasn't worked like that in quite a while.
Well, I almost subbed myself in. I was like, hey, I want to be a part of this. What are you talking about? I don't want to just coach. I want to put up a couple shots myself.
There were some shots out there, and then when someone was taking a lot of them and making a lot of them was Cassie Harbert. And it seemed like, I don't know, maybe she played a lot this summer. I don't know if she had a little bit of a slow start, if she was just tired or something, but it seems like she's now hitting her stride. What do you see from Cassie?
Well, I thought she was a little tired coming in, and we've tried to, rest her when we could. But for the most part, what we've done is we've just tried to keep her in balance. And early on, a lot of teams were playing very physical with her, double teaming her. But as we've had players like Kate Oliver or Kanisha Horn come out and knock down some shots, Alexis Viola Thomas playing great basketball right now, it's really opened it up and not allowed teams to double team Cassie so much. And then what happens? She has her coming out party and she has a big game and she's starting to move a lot better. She wanted to play with her back to the basket. I challenged her to face up and go around players a lot more, utilize some of her athletic ability, and she's bought in, and she's just a great talent, and I love coaching her.
Within the conference, you had 2 top 25 wins, Colorado and ASU, which you guys beat. But as a result, the Trojans aren't ranked in the top 25. Does that have your team play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder?
Well, I don't think we worry about rankings. I think we worry about each game at a time, and we worry about getting better. We worry about what we do, and we put together a game plan for the opponent, but for the most part, we worry about what we do. We don't worry about rankings. We just let the chips fall where they may. We want to keep winning. We want to keep playing quality, exciting, entertaining basketball.
Well, you've gotten off to a great start, but the level of competition obviously rises this weekend. I don't know if there's a tougher 2-game trip in college basketball and what you face when you go to play the Bay in the Pac-12. You start with Cal on Friday and then Stanford all the way on Monday. Do you see this as sort of a litmus test, a chance to really find out what your team is made of this weekend?
I really do. I like it being on the road because road trips for us are team building as well. And so we come together. It's only us. It's us against the world, so to speak. And so we go to Cal first. They're a great team. They're coached by Lindsay, and Lindsay does a fantastic job. And then Hall of Famer, Tara Vanderveer, she does a terrific job up at Stanford. So I think it will be a good test for us. on the road and see what we have. For us, it's about what we do and executing and constantly getting better. And then at the end of the day, I challenge my kids to compete. When you take off your jersey and she takes off her jersey, at the end of the day, let's compete as two basketball players.
Yeah, my last question is, Coach Enfield, you can take him?
Oh, definitely. Okay. I'm just letting you know.
I tried to make sure.
And that's it's not 20 minutes. You know that Coach Enfield will stay married a long time because he always understands. Just say yes.
Exactly.
Just say okay. Just agree.
With the women. Exactly. Get you a long way.
Oh, well, we appreciate you coming down. Coach Coop, good luck this weekend. They're going up to the Bay. They play Cal on Friday, Stanford on Monday, two ranked teams. You can catch their act on Pac-12 networks before they come home next week. Tonight's highlights are courtesy of 710 ESPN, and this month is January at Subway restaurants. And you can get any regular footlong sub with all the toppings you want for just $5 each all month long. Subway, eat fresh. Thank you, Coach Coop. We got another hooper in the house. Coming up next, it's Julian Jacobs, the young freshman on the men's team. He'll be next up on Trojans Live.
So I have a twin sister, and our whole lives we've been very competitive. So now we have these two cars. They're both white, so we put them side by side. She has a BMW. I have the Ford Escape.
Jennifer Bellotti got a Ford Escape with EcoBoost, and her sister's jealous.
I love my Ford with the EcoBoost engine. When I'm merging onto the freeway, I step on the gas. It's super powerful. You can just feel it. And the gas mileage is great, with especially the gas prices these days, so it's perfect. I love using the Active Park Assist. The first time I was nervous because I had never seen anything like it before, but it did a perfect job. It got me right into the parallel parking spot, and it made my life a whole lot easier.
The Ford Escape, the technologically advanced SUV that combines performance, high mileage, and value.
When we put my sister's BMW and my Ford Escape side by side and we compared all the different options, she kind of wishes that she went my route and got a Ford Escape also.
Ford. More cars, more engines, more ways to go further. 2-liter EcoBoost, EPA estimated 22 city MPG.
On Loveridge drive and a block. Trojans quickly ahead. Jacobs to the rim with a one-handed stop on the feed from Byron Wesley.
Back on Trojans Live, Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and Julian Jacobs. Julian Jacobs has created quite a few highlights this season, averaging 7 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists. Juju, as they call you, tell me first, you're a Vegas guy, so tell me your recruiting story. How'd you end up here?
Well, originally I was committed to the University of Utah. Felt like it wasn't the right choice for me, so I opened my recruitment back up. And USC recruited me, coaching staff, Cantu and O'Neill. And I took a visit, and I loved it here. And so I think I committed within like a month after being recruited from them. So, yeah.
And when you have Coach Enfield now as your coach, how does that, no disrespect to the other coaches that you had, but how does that sort of change or improve your opportunities here now at USC?
Yeah, well, I was really relieved when, they finally made the decision to hire Coach Enfield because I ran a similar system in high school with my coach back in Las Vegas. But, and just he was coming off that run in the NCAA tournament, so I was really excited, the slam or dunk city. As they call it. So I was just really looking forward to being coached by him.
Yeah, I was talking about the highlights. You seem to be really, maybe more than anyone on this team, the perfect fit for this system. You love finishing those alley-oops. I mean, how much do you, when you know that play's coming your way, I mean, your eyes light up?
Definitely, yeah. It always gets the crowd going. And, when I missed that one dunk on the fast break, it was really embarrassing.
That one you pulled up short on. You took off a little too early. And you guys out-dunk your opponents. That's a stat. But out-dunk your opponents 50-25. Is that something that, as a player, you guys even keep track of, or is that just sort of a fun statistic just sort of thrown out there?
No, not at all. I wish we could outplay everyone.
That would help out.
But no, we just, if the opportunity is there, we go for it. So.
We'll talk about that side of it, outplay. Obviously, you guys got off to a great start. You were 9-4 in non-conference. I'm sure you were feeling good going into Pac-12 play. Obviously, it has not started well, 0-5 in the league. What have you seen as the biggest difference as you got into league play?
Mental preparedness. I feel like our struggles come from the lack of focusing, for 40 minutes straight. I feel like we always give a good effort and play hard, but I just don't. I think the biggest struggle for us, like I said before, was just we just don't always focus like we should, Or the other teams. The Pac-12 is a really good conference. It's a so I would just say being focused all the time and just executing game plans, you know.
Is there anything you guys can do to sort of help that? I mean, is it one of those things where you watch film with Coach Enfield and he sort of goes back and says, hey, look, this is where we lost it, those types of things? Or is it just a matter of practicing, maybe, you know, practicing longer, harder? What do you do to try to combat that, to overcome the fact of, you know, you guys not being able to complete games, so to speak?
Well, recently we've been watching a lot of film, you know, just looking at our mistakes and seeing where we mess up a lot. I think practicing, you know, obviously working on your game, it always helps. Just being more attentive to what Coach has to say. And, I mean, at this point, you know, it's do or die. Like, if we keep losing, you know, we could screw our season away. So we're in desperate mode right now.
How much do you feel like just getting one win to turn the tide would really help?
Oh, tremendously. We're really looking forward to this game tomorrow. You know, we're going to come out and play hard and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the one thing that that can't be faulted from this team is you guys play hard. You guys show up and play hard.
Right.
And at times you can compete with the top teams in the country. You know, you guys have shown that. You know, but you know, path going forward. I think this is what sort of Jordan was getting to. Is path going forward. How do you know, is there anything you could point to sort of, you know, to sort of turn that switch or get over that hump?
I can't pinpoint it.
No. Okay.
I feel like we're a little bit more optimistic. You know, we've been practicing well lately. As far as just like one specific thing, I can't really say, but you know, we're gonna definitely try to turn things around and get a win tomorrow. But yeah, I really don't know.
You described Julian as a combo guard. How do you see yourself on the floor going forward? Do you want to become a point guard? Where do you think your future is?
I feel like I can play, you know, the one or the two, whatever I'm asked of. You know, I feel like I can pass really well. I finish well in transition. Definitely trying to add more aspects to my game, like, you know, shooting the ball a lot more, finishing more aggressively. But you know, whatever coach asks of me, whatever, I don't really care what my label is, you know, just as long as I'm on the floor.
And that's the one thing that Coach talked about is the development of players once they get here in the off season. What would be your primary focus for you individually to get better for even next year?
Decision making, you know, also getting stronger, shooting the ball more confidently, and just playing, you know, with a chip on my shoulder because, like I said before, it's a tough league. You know, nobody's going to take it easy on you.
You got a nice freshman class that you've come in. You know, Nicholas playing a lot, starting alongside you, and obviously Rashawn Prince has played a lot. We've seen Khalil Dukes a little bit. Right. Is it? I know it can be frustrating. You're in the middle of a little losing streak here. Is it hard to sort of see the forest through the trees a little bit? But can you see maybe the big picture that this program over your 4 years at USC could really develop into something special? And obviously, you know, Coach talked about it with guys like Jordan McLaughlin and talented players on the way. Right.
Yeah. I think we have a really good recruiting class coming in, so they'll definitely be a help. But I mean, like you mentioned before, we have a lot of freshmen playing some valuable minutes. It's almost like when you watch us on film, we look like puppies out there. You know, we're just underdeveloped. Yeah. But you know, as the season progresses, I feel like we'll just get better each and every day if we really want to. You know.
I like that. We'll end on that. Julian and the Pups will be in the house tomorrow night, 8:00. Got to take on Cal tomorrow night. Stanford on Sunday at 2 p.m. So catch Julian finishing off those alley-oops at Galen Center. Game on. Make your move today to the Lorenzo, the most talked about apartment community at the University of Southern California. Brand new upscale student living is waiting for you. Hurry. Spaces are going fast. Don't miss out. Immediate occupancy. Visit thelorenzo.com or call 213-863-4307. Coming up next on Trojans Live, it's time to finally talk some hardball. We've got two of USC baseball's best next up on KFWB.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm an over-enthusiastic football fan. We just beat one of the worst teams, but I'm walking out of the stadium celebrating like we just wrapped up a perfect season. I'm so blind with excitement, I don't notice when I step into traffic and you have to swerve to miss me. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem, like me.
In Los Angeles, call Allstate agent Beatriz Zaragoza. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Are you in good hands?
January is now January at Subway, and footlong fans are feeling good. Because any regular footlong is a $5 footlong. Even better for you favorites like the sweet onion chicken teriyaki and the ham, turkey, and roast beef packed Subway Club. Nothing stacks up to Subway footlongs. Hurry in for your $5 footlong this January.
Prices and participation may vary, plus tax or applicable. Excludes premium and supreme subs. Additional charge for extras. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
Hey, it's Tim McGraw. I spend a lot of time on the road. It connects me to all the things that I love. My family, my fans, my career. That's why I love performing my new song, Highway Don't Care. It just hits home. I want to be the best that I can be for my teenage daughters and my fans. That's why I'm taking the pledge to never text and drive. Find your reason and take the pledge at itcanwait.com. No text is worth the risk. It can wait.
Now more Trojans Live.
Full stage up here on Trojans Live. Jordan Moore and John Jackson, joined by Kevin Swick and Bob Wheatley, two seniors, guys going into your final semesters at USC, final semesters on this baseball team. What's it feel like? What's the focus going into this one?
We're just ready to get things started, ready to go. We've been working hard this offseason, and like I said, we're just ready to get started.
One last ride, Kevin. You ready for it?
Yeah, definitely ready for it. We're psyched, and we're looking really good right now. Excited to get after it and start the season, definitely.
Okay, well, I'll just put it out there. The expectations have gone from here to – we're on radio. Can't see
you're on radio.
They go from low to extremely high this year for you guys, mainly because of you two being seniors and the experience that you have behind you. You know, Bob, what is it about this team? I mean, tell me, what's your guys' expectations?
Well, I totally agree with that, except for the part just about us.
Okay.
We definitely have a lot of guys that have made great strides over the offseason and have really developed. We felt like last year we had a really young team, so it was almost a year of growing pains. Sometimes you have those, and we just feel going into this year we can really build off of that experience that we all gained.
Yeah, talk, Bob, about being the Friday starter. Is there an importance? Is there a leadership role that just comes with that? I mean, you're setting the tone for every weekend series.
Yeah, I mean, again, every game is just as important.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even a Tuesday. It's either a win or a loss. So do I approach it any different? No, not really. I'm just trying to go out there and do the best I can for my team, and they all do the same for me.
Kevin, when I look at your career, it's gotten progressively better as well, especially on the defensive side, though, playing behind pitchers like Bob. For you this year, what has been the main focus of your growth in terms of trying to improve from what you did last year to coming into this senior year?
Yeah, definitely. I think for the whole team on the position player side, it's all about being consistent and being able to get runs in. We kind of struggled with that last year, and it's about owning that big spot. So I think for everybody, we're all about getting the runs in this year.
Yeah, baseball is always an interesting sport because it's a team sport, but there are individual concepts within it. I mean, you can't rely on anyone when you're in the batter's box. But at the same time, last year, you were that veteran presence in a really young lineup. So how much did you try to help everyone by being a veteran and obviously leading the team in hitting?
Yeah, definitely. I think it starts with leading by example first off, kind of how you go about your business, how you work in practice. And then, you're more vocal during the games, picking guys up, especially as young guys, definitely struggling at the beginning, helping them understand like it's a long season, not, one at bat isn't the whole season. And just trying to, be consistent is the biggest thing that we kind of preached and are going to continue to preach this year.
And for Bob, you and I have known each other forever, but going back, maybe back in Lou days, he was quarterback, So, but one thing I knew your dad, of course, came to USC. Of course, now you here at USC. The one thing I didn't recognize until I started doing a little research was your brother who's a sophomore now.
That's
Not only is he here at USC, dude, he is on your heels for the top ERA. I mean, you last year were second in ERA, him being third. Give me a little breakdown of your brother. I didn't know he was that good.
Oh, I mean, he's great. He had a great freshman year. Like I was telling you, he threw 45 innings as a freshman, and when I was a freshman, I threw 12 2/3, 26 as a sophomore. So he had more in his freshman year than my first 2 years combined. He's a hard-throwing righty with a good curveball, and he really competes his butt off. So,
yeah, JJ talked about your football background. I saw you play high school football too. And what's the difference in the throwing motions? How different is that quarterback throw and obviously the pitcher's mound?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it. Quarterback's great. There's really nothing like it. But yeah, I mean, you kind of reach back a little farther, and in football it's the same throw every time. You're not throwing a change, throwing a curve, but I do miss it, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, I'm proud to say that you and I are the smartest guys in the room. Okay, only academic All-Americans are here. And congratulations to you publicly. I mean, last year when I was notified that you were academic All-American, the first time since I was named academic All-American, because there hasn't been a lot of smart guys at USC in a long time. But with that being said, what did it take? What did it take from your personal standpoint to be able to achieve it? Because it's tough doing two academics and the athletics.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's all about discipline and time management, being able to get a lot of extra work in on the field, but also takes care of stuff in the classroom. That means going to tutoring, extra office hours, and sometimes you got to give up some things, maybe a little bit of the social life, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
Guys, I got a Twitter question for you here from Rachel K. Caton. How have the addition of Matt Curtis and Vinny Lopez added to the staff with Coach Hubbs and Alvarez? How's that help the team?
Definitely from a hitting standpoint and position player standpoint, it's been really awesome. Coach Curtis has really come in, really developed a hitting approach for the guys. We played 2 fall games and kind of saw that, work through the games, and we really liked what we saw. And then Vinny, he's got that pro ball experience, coaching with the Rangers, kind of bringing that pro ball mentality of, creating, perfect swings, and it's definitely he lightens up the mood, keeps it fun. So it's definitely a good dynamic there.
Hey, Bob, you got the benefit of Coach Hubbs, the skip being an ex-pitcher and a very good pitcher as well. So he's technically your, goes on to be your pitching coach as well. How has he helped your progress into becoming the pitcher that you are?
Right, just going off of what Kevin said. Last year, Coach had 2 days to prepare for the season, so it's not really
right.
It's not really ideal for him. But this year, just with the additions of Coach Curtis and Vinny, we've been able to work with him a lot more, and we all love him. We all buy into what he's coaching and what he's preaching, and we're just ready to get things going.
Well, the real Trojan fans, the real people around here know that this is a baseball school. You guys have a great tradition, a great legacy to live up to, and it sounds like things are heading in the right direction. We look forward to seeing both of you carrying that torch at Dato Field this spring. Tonight's tweet is brought to you by Allstate Insurance. Football players rely on lots of coaches, quarterbacks, running backs, and special teams, just to name a few. But for insurance, you only need one coach, an Allstate agent. They'll help you with your insurance game plan. Call L.A. area Allstate agent Cheryl Binns or Shahei Jamelian today. Coming back, we're going to talk a little bit of football as JJ breaks down what's been going on in the offseason next on Trojans Live.
Trojan fans, each season the schedule is filled with pesky opponents looking to bring you down. But when that yellow truck and the little man with the hammer pulls up to your home or place of business to battle your bug opponent, insects and pests have no chance. For over 90 years, Western Exterminator has been in the trenches, dominating every matchup and every battle of the bug, which is why true Trojan fans know that Western Exterminator is the final word in pest control.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
January is now January at Subway, and footlong fans are feeling good. Because any regular footlong is a $5 footlong. Even better for you favorites like the sweet onion chicken teriyaki and the ham, turkey, and roast beef pack Subway Club. Nothing stacks up to Subway footlongs. Hurry in for your $5 footlong this January.
Prices and participation may vary, plus tax or applicable. Excludes premium and supreme subs. Additional charge for extras. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Kessler drops the pass, throws over the middle. Buck Allen's got it. He's got some room to run. 30, 35, gets away on the outside of the 40. Up the sideline on the 45, 50. He's got the 40-yard line before Dream driven out of bounds.
Hey, it took a while, about 40 minutes, but it's time to talk some football on Trojans Live. John Jackson and Jordan Moore sitting here with you. And JJ, as we start looking at this offseason, I guess the stress of who's going to leave is finally over. And for a while there was it produced some anxiety as it seemed like the word mass exodus was being used, but it slowed down. And in the end, I think it could have been worse.
Yeah, they could have lost a couple key players on the defensive side. Let's start with the guys that left, though. I wish them all the best. And there always is that question: did they leave too early? I think that with Marquise, it's time to go. Right? He's one of the top receivers in the country. He has a good combine. He'll definitely go. If he's not the second receiver taken, he'll be the third receiver taken. Obviously, a first-round choice. The other guys, though, a lot of question. I think Marcus Smart, and I think he definitely has the talent. The one thing I wonder is how healthy will he be able to get for the time of the combine. They judge the people on that because general managers are paid to make good picks. And if he's not 100% healthy by that time, then that could be a tough pick. For them, I'd have loved to see him come back. George Uko is the one that sort of surprised me. I thought that he would come back because he was, really starting to take off in this odd defense that the Trojans were running last year, and it seems that they'll be running this year. But, to all of them, it's congratulations to all of them. And I think they'll all they'll all be pros. How soon that'll happen, it's sort of dependent on the team they go to. But they're definitely guys that can play the next level.
Yeah, NFL's a weird league in terms of it's just so much about opportunity. I mean, you see a guy like Nickel Roby this year who went undrafted, and he's friends with all these guys, and they see him, and he absolutely thrived. Undrafted rookie free agent, and he's starting for the Bills, making pick sixes and all that. So, that's part of it. But the good news is two big guys that came back. Hayes Plard, I think, surprised a lot of people to come back. He'll probably be the captain of the defense right there in the middle next year. And then the guy that I think is huge for this team is Josh Shaw. He was so versatile last season. Now he comes back, and you really return your entire secondary intact now with Leon McQuay just slotting into safety as he did for that one game last year.
Yeah, if there was one guy within the guys that were eligible to leave that you had to have back from a team perspective, not necessarily is he the best player.
Exactly.
He might not be the best talented player in that class, but for what this team needs in terms of having zero depth at corner, and having him be able to come back and play corner and safety, as you mentioned, with the versatility. If you put him at safety, he obviously can guard anybody that comes out in the slot and those types of things because he has those corner skills. But if you would have lost him, that would have been a huge hole that would not have been able to be filled.
And now the entire coaching staff is complete. Took a couple D-line coaches to get it done, but I think they got some really exciting people to take over this program, and there is clearly a theme that runs through it. You're looking at guys that are mostly between 35 and 45. What are you seeing? A focus on youth, a focus on energy, recruiting. What are you seeing?
Well, the young, energetic coach usually, and I think in this case, they want to thrive, for their own self-worth, which is good for the team, right? Yep. It's almost like being a football player. You have to worry about your, and the team end up getting better as a result. I think that's what you see with this staff is they're young, energetic. The one common denominator is they all are very good recruiters, and they've been, being able to recruit. So the one thing you have with this staff is sort of the common theme is whichever guy goes to whatever state, to whatever player, he is a coach that is very good at recruiting, very personable, and able to draw top talent, which is why I think that the Trojan recruiting class has stayed where it was at. Coach Orgeron was obviously known as one of the best recruiters around in the country, and they have not lost anything now that with his departure because of these guys.
Yeah, and National Signing Day is 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we'll have a show the Thursday after National Signing Day. Maybe get some of those kids on here, certainly get the coaches on here to talk about the kids. So that's obviously an exciting day, but they did already bring in some early entrants. The one I wanted to sort of ask you about is this kid, Jalen Green, maybe not known as a top prospect, listed as a 3-star guy for whatever that's worth. But what's interesting is he is a mobile quarterback. Do you see potentially a shift in philosophy as you do bring in quarterbacks that are dual threat?
It's interesting. I think that what Coach Sark sees is that you have with the quarterbacks the Trojans have, with Max Brown and also with Cody Kessler and Max Wittick, they're all sort of similar styles. They sort of fit the pro style, if you want to call it that. With Jalen Green and some of the other guys that they will try to bring in, it's a little bit of a contrasting style. Not to necessarily replace what the Trojans have, but also to add a different complement. If you're bringing another quarterback, then now it's the fourth or fifth quarterback that you have with the same style.
Right.
And Sark wants to have that running ability, from the quarterback position and have that versatility. So at the end of the day, he's going to have to complete passes. But to have that, you have to have that versatility to give him a little contrast at that position.
Can't talk about individual players, but how about positions of need as we look at the final 2 weeks before signing day?
Well, a cornerback is huge for me. They have to get some depth there. They cannot survive and just keep their fingers crossed that the starters don't get hurt, for next year. I think that offensive line at center, that's a huge position. There's nobody that is listed in the Trojans roster right now that is a center, and then so guys that are coming in, you might have to make a change there to sort of develop them. So those are really the two positions of need because it's a huge, the center spot is critical as well as those cornerback spots.
Finally, the 2014 schedule has already been released. Your quick take, obviously the first thing that stands out is week 2. They go to Stanford, which has really become such a great rivalry. It's now an NFL rivalry. It's Carroll and Harbaugh, Richard Sherman and Malcolm Smith tipping balls to each other. I mean, USC Stanford's everywhere right now, and they'll battle pretty quickly next year.
The fact that Stanford is up there at the top, and the fact that, from after week 3, it's going to be the Pac-12 schedule. The fact that they have those tough teams at the top basically means that Coach Sarkisian and staff have to be ready early. You have to be ready from come week 1. There is no warm-up games. There's no tune-ups. There's none of that. You have to be ready to play in week 2 against Stanford because you know what you're going to get.
And you have to be ready to play week 1 against Fresno State. That's the team the Trojans saw in the bowl game this year. So the guy that's going to get them ready is Ivan Lewis, the new strength and conditioning coach, and he's going to sit down with us next to wrap up Trojans Live on KFWB.
So we originally went to the dealership to buy a Explorer, and we ended up trading both of our Toyotas, a Sienna and a Camry, and walked out with 2 new Fords.
Mike Savage is a landscape architect, and Ford just restyled his front yard.
My driveway is the best-looking driveway in town with our new Explorer and a new Fusion. It's has our neighbors jealous. With all the technological features of my new Fusion, you would expect to find that in a much more expensive car, but at the price that I got, it's remarkable. I like just the performance of the car. The Fusion's new EcoBoost engine's really, really quick. It's a lot of power, and I just love that sports car feel. But I still get the fuel economy of a 4-cylinder engine.
The new Ford Fusion. Technology, performance, and styling that leads the field.
Just yesterday, I was told by a valet attendant that my Fusion looked like a European sports car.
Ford. More cars, more engines, more ways to go further. 2-liter EcoBoost EPA estimated 22 city MPG.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm the football your buddy fired through your windshield. The cooler that tumbled out of a pickup and onto the hood of your car. If you're a football fan, eventually we're going to meet. So get Allstate. Our agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Are you in good hands?
Start protecting yourself from mayhem. In Redondo Beach, call Allstate agent Tyler Cross today. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is the home of the drive-through oil change. They understand you're busy and have a lot to get done in a day. You're a Trojan and have places to be. That is why at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you drive in, not even getting out of your car, and drive out in about 15 minutes. As a proud sponsor of USC football, Valvoline Instant Oil Change would like to give a special deal to all the Trojan fans in Southern California. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special offers and discounts. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Now back to Trojans Live from the lab.
Jordan Moore and John Jackson joined by Ivan Lewis, who comes down from Washington as the new strength and conditioning coach, head of strength and conditioning for the USC Athletic Department, USC football team. Ivan, you've been here before. Welcome home.
It's good to be back. It's great to be back.
I'm sure it is. You get started with the team tomorrow. You excited? What's your opening day message going to be like for these guys?
You know, the opening day really is just the excitement part of being back, starting to train again, and really just, turning a new page on a new season. Whatever's happened. It's time to go. it's time to, get ourselves dialed in to the task at hand, and that's getting better. It's getting, injured guys healthy. It's about just getting our mindset to compete all the time. And that's really what we're going to do is just develop, an attitude in there of just competition all the time, compete, dominate everything we do, and really make that, create that competitive atmosphere in really every drill and everything we do as far as, the detail orientation of how we're going to do the lift, how we're going to work hard, and, just really work on that mindset of competing.
Ivan, it's funny because I look at your job as the toughest job because, the coaches have to get the players to play, but if they don't play, they look at you like, hey, you got to get these guys ready to play.
That's
so,
right.
So for part of your job in terms of evaluating what you have, when you come in and, do you sit down and just put everybody up on the board and sort of see what their needs are? Or how do you go about the evaluation process on where to get started?
Yeah, we look at it when obviously we're very familiar with these guys, and it really starts with getting our hands and getting dirty with them, just getting out there in the first week and watching their movements, seeing where guys are deficient, seeing where we can get better. You really start to separate what kind of areas of focus you need, and during the weeks to come, you really keep developing that, and you just keep analyzing, evaluating, and going. And it's never, you never can kind of look at it and say, hey, this is a cookie-cutter program. This is what we're going to do. It's the same thing all the time. Hey, it changes all the time, especially depending on the kids and just as the weeks progress. So we're excited to attack every position group. We're excited to really develop a program and training to really train them for their position. And that's what I really think, separates us from a lot of different places. That the staff we have here, as far as our strength coaches, a couple of guys I brought down with me, and the two guys we have here, is we're really about football and developing these guys to play football in the positions that they're in. So
that's a great point, and maybe give us an example a little bit. If you're talking about a wide receiver like JJ, as opposed to
it's like live in the weight room, sleep. Here's a pillow.
That's right. Gain some weight. Let's get faster.
A wide receiver as opposed to like an offensive lineman. I mean,
Right.
How different is their workout routine going to be?
Well, you look at there's two completely different position needs there. The O-line guys, obviously the weight's completely different. What the movement on the field they do, completely different too. We're not looking at running O-linemen. It's no longer the days of, hey, let's go run a mile to run a mile. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
O-linemen aren't running a mile. As a matter of fact, if they run 100 yards, they better score. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they have the opportunity, it better happen. But we got to train them for the yardage on the field they play in and the directions they play in. Whereas receivers, I mean, they're going out, they're running 15, 20, 30. They're running 100 yards. So we got to make sure when you look at it, you train and plan their program for what they do on the field. And I think that's the most important part we're going to do here.
The one thing when you look across the conference, this stereotype, you look at like a Stanford, and you say, oh, those guys are just so big and strong, and you just imagine their weight coach is the best guy ever that's invented the weights. They put his name on the weights. But when I look at Washington, I start to say the same thing. I mean, you guys could run the football. Is one thing that they could do. What is it? Is it the player? Like, how do you develop that guy? Because sort of everybody's looking for that Stanford, Wisconsin, that physical offensive lineman.
Yeah, well, at first it starts with the football coaches going out and they're getting great recruits. It really does. It starts right there, and then all starts with the athlete's attitude. It's got to be an I want to. It never has to be I have to. Because when it becomes an I want to, they want to do the work. They want to get better. They want to put that mindset of getting aggressive and tough in everything they do, and to really have that competitive edge. And that's really what we're developing there. I mean, if you got guys that want to, it's easy. It's fun, And the other part of being a great coach is finding the guys that they may not love the weight room, but finding ways to get them to understand why we do it. And when they understand the whys, usually you can get them to be great as well.
I started by saying welcome back, and for people that don't know, you were here for a stint before under Coach Carroll, but more specifically under Chris Carlisle, who he's celebrating. We were talking about that Seahawks game. I'm sure you sent a text or a call to Chris and that staff up there. But what did you learn from him? Obviously, he was such an inspirational guy and such an important guy. Maybe people didn't know in that great Carroll run here at SC. What did you learn from Chris?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, he's a great mentor for me. I mean, it was great to be there with him for 3 years. Under his philosophy and a lot of the stuff I took with me when I left was, a lot of what I learned from him and being around how he controlled the group and how detail oriented he was when it came to, training the guys and holding them accountable, and it was never any favorites, it was, hey, here's what it is. You either matched it or you didn't. And if you didn't, it's win or lose. So we either won today in the weight room or we lost. And I really liked that attitude and where he was coming from. And We talk every day. When we were up in Seattle, we were on the phone, twice a week, talking philosophy, talking what they're doing, talking what we were doing, talking what we can do better, talk about what we don't like. So it's a relationship that continues to exist, and I've just been really lucky to be around him and Coach Carroll and all that crew.
One thing real quickly is that we see with this Trojan team, there's a lot of knee injuries. And I don't know if it's bad luck, if it's training, if it's year-round, what guys do year-round. Is there anything that you have studied or know that could help prevent that? Because, the Trojans lost. Everybody was going out with a knee injury last year.
Yeah, we did a really good job last year, and I think it's when you're developing programs, you got to look at so many times guys are just looking at, hey, their guys are getting bigger in the biceps or chest or whatever, but we got to really develop everything that's going on inside the knee. So we're doing a lot of different things to try to work in with the regular weightlifting. Everybody's squatting, everybody's benching, everybody's power cleaning, but we're doing a lot of little things in between to make sure we're getting our knees strong and our balance and really trying to fix the problem before we have another run of them, and that's something we did a good job last year, and that's something we're going to get better at and better at. And first and foremost, we got you got to be healthy to play, and that's something we're excited about, and excited about getting the guys that maybe have a couple knee injuries to get them back, and I think we can do a really good job doing that.
Don't have a lot of numbers, so hopefully we can keep them healthy. And Ivan Lewis and company will get that started tomorrow. You just know when you're sleeping in bed, that sun rises, they'll be going to work. That's what I'll be thinking about.
You guys are coming at 4:30, right?
I'll be dreaming about it.
You're waking up.
Absolutely. Ivan Lewis, appreciate you joining us. We're going to come on back for one more segment, wrap things up here on Trojans Live at the Lab.
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com. Trojan fans, each season the schedule is filled with pesky opponents looking to bring you down. But when that yellow truck and the little man with the hammer pulls up to your home or place of business to battle your bug opponent, insects and pests have no chance. For over 90 years, Western Exterminator has been in the trenches, dominating every matchup and every battle of the bug, which is why true Trojan fans know that Western Exterminator is the final word in pest control.
January is now January at Subway, and footlong fans are feeling good. Because any regular footlong is a $5 footlong. Even better for you favorites like the sweet onion chicken teriyaki and the ham, turkey, and roast beef pack Subway Club. Nothing stacks up to Subway footlongs. Hurry in for your $5 footlong this January.
Prices and participation may vary, plus tax or applicable. Excludes premium and supreme subs. Additional charge for extras. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
Now more Trojans Live.
Closing down the shop here, Jordan Moore and John Jackson. That was really fascinating talking to Ivan there. Not a guy that you get to talk to very much, the fans get to hear from very much, but that's a really important position. And the way the rules are crafted, he's really the head coach during the offseason because the head coach isn't allowed to be there for a lot of it.
Exactly, has total control of these players. And I think that he is probably the most important person within the Trojan football team. Reason why is because you have to. It's about recruiting players, getting good players in, but then it's the development. When they get here, they have to get better, and he's, of course, in charge of that.
Well, we're going to talk about recruiting. That's going to be the focus of the show when we come back on Thursday, February 6th. We'll be back here live at the Lab 2 weeks from this Thursday. It'll be a 6 p.m. show. Next Trojans Live, we'll have Steve Sarkisian and lots of other guests to talk about National Signing Day. Tonight's show, the on-site engineer is Rick Cutler, studio producer Cornelius Edwards, director of broadcast operations is Ann Beebe, the executive producer of Trojans Live is Dan Shell. Thank you to Lindsey Crouch, Jennifer Griner, and our crew here at the Lab. For John Jackson, I am Jordan Moore saying good night. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye now.
You've been listening to Trojans Live, brought to you by
BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. By Valvoline, charge on, but visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change first. Home of the drive-through only change and proud sponsor of USC football. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special discounts and offers. By Allstate Insurance, mayhem is everywhere. Start protecting yourself from mayhem with Allstate Insurance. By Western Exterminator, providing all-star termite and pest control you can trust for over 90 years. Western Exterminator, the final word in pest control.
Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports West and USC Sports Properties on KFWB News Talk 980.